All right, so here's my chicken stock. I got my 1 quart here for doing the velouté. You can do a half recipe on that if you want. Do 1 pint and then reduce it down to a cup. The one that I'm going to demo is 1 quart reduced down to a pint. Then I've also got 4 additional pints, so it makes about 3 times as much as you need. Most of the time, all of this leftover bones and mirepoix is going to be thrown away in most restaurants. I've worked a couple of places where they will kind of pick the carcass, pull off some of this chicken and use it for chicken salad or something like that. It's very dry, all of the fat, all the flavors cooked out of it. It's your own personal preference. I mean, you could pull it off, you could put it in with the stock if you wanted to. One important consideration to think of, if it's not a bad idea to always try anything you make, is that stock is not broth. There's a few important distinguishing factors between stock and broth. First of all, technically, to be called a broth, it can have bones in it, but it should always have meat. And secondly, probably most importantly, is that a stock is never considered to be a complete product. You taste it, you get a little bit of chicken flavor, you get little nuances of the spices, the herbs, the mirepoix, everything else that we put in there. But unless you reduce it down a lot or do other things to make it more flavorful, it's not a complete product. It's something which you're going to use to make a sauce. It's something you're going to use to make a soup. You can use it as the base for a broth. But by itself, you don't want to sit down and just drink it. It's just not flavorful enough. It's kind of boring. So that's another thing that you need to remember. One more reminder, big takeaway, important thing to remember. Difference between a white stock and a brown stock has nothing to do with what type of bones you use. You can make a white stock out of beef bones, you can make a brown stock out of chicken bones. This is going to be considered a white stock because the mirepoix and the bones were not roasted before we made the stock. Later on in the semester, we'll make a brown stock with beef bones, and in that case, we're going to roast the mirepoix and the bones, and you get quite a different product that way. All right.